Do you want to know 10 ways to create opportunities for unstructured play? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education. And in this video, we are talking about 10 things that you can do so that your child will start playing the unstructured way. Why would you want your child to play the unstructured way anyway? Well, we're going to talk about that first on this video, and then we're going to talk about those 10 things that you can do, and I can promise you some of the ideas may surprise you. Why would a parent want to do unstructured play versus structured play anyway? Well, simple, because the outcomes for unstructured play are proven to be better for the child. Historically speaking, children have always played unstructured, so they've had opportunities to invent, create, test boundaries, do daring things, and this has actually created confidence. It's actually created tougher people, not just physically tough, but also emotionally tough, psychologically tough. They also become smarter because they're sorting out problems. They become very good at problem solving. They really, truly get a confidence that other people around them don't usually have because they've identified problems, created plans and strategies for solving the problems, gone about the effort of putting those plans into practice, seen what works and what doesn't work, tried again and again and again, sometimes solve the problem, sometimes not. That is very mature brain work that is going on there, and that leads a person to feel like there's nothing I can't do. And don't we want all of our children to have confidence? Well, unstructured play is something that leads to that. When you focus fully on structured play, then the unspoken message is that I don't trust you to be able to play by yourself. In fact, many children don't trust themselves to come up with an idea for something to do or to play by themselves. They're constantly coming to their parents saying, "What can I do? What can I do? I'm bored." That's a sign that they haven't had enough opportunity inventing, creating, and testing boundaries all on their own. So we need to give them that opportunity. Now, oftentimes, one of the greatest outcomes from unstructured play is that children end up not afraid of doing work. And this is because many unstructured play activities actually involve work. So if you have subscribed to this channel already, then you know I am a big proponent of teaching children a good work ethic, giving them the opportunity to work so that they can see that they can accomplish something. And I often say that work is the #1 thing that will help a person develop confidence. Well, unstructured play is often just work for the child, and so it also is really great at developing confidence in the child. So let's go ahead and talk about these 10 ways that you can create unstructured play. So the goal is to inspire our child to do unstructured play. One of the most important things that you can do to inspire your child to do unstructured play is start it very early, okay? Start it early. Make sure that your child is getting the opportunity when they are young to have time alone playing. I have a little granddaughter, she's 2.5. She has her own little kitchen and she has all of her little blocks and things. She has, I would say, more of a Montessori type playroom where there's a lot of wood and a lot of books and a lot of dollies and stuffed animals to play with and a lot of things that look like adult things to play with. In fact, some of them are just adult things that she has been given to play with. Some of them are even kind of like, I don't know, junk that's been cleaned that she can use. It's like this plastic bottle that she uses for, you know, whatever it is, and she loves little things like that. In fact, they're oftentimes her favorite treasures. Having that perfectly smooth stick is more valuable to her than that little car or something. And that doesn't mean she doesn't have the cars, because she has those too. But she has all of those other things as well. Anyway, when she plays by herself a lot. Now she's the oldest child, so, you know, That's how it goes sometimes. She plays by herself. Her parents have given her the opportunity to play by herself and to allow her to invent some of the play that happens. Now, they do teach how to play. There is some value in some structured training. That's going to be in a different video, so we'll talk about then. We'll talk about how to structure some play to help encourage more unstructured play in a different video. But I will say that the biggest thing is that after they trained her in kind of like how to play and how to invent and do these things, that then she just took the reins and went for it. So at the beginning, you got to give them the idea. If you're waiting till a child is 13 to say, go outside and play with your friends, they're going to be like, no. I'm not in the mood for that. I kind of like this cage that I'm in and I don't want to leave it. All of the food is here and all of my distractions and comforts are here. Why would I go out there? I know a lot of parents start thinking about getting their children outside when it's starting to get to be too late. It is nice for parents to have the children inside where they can observe everything, control everything that's going on, keep the children safe. But the problem is if the children are never put in any kind of danger, then the children also lose the desire to step out into any danger. And let's be serious, the world is dangerous. Number 9, the bin of possibilities. If a person is going to play unstructured and they're going to start working in an unstructured way, you got to give them stuff to use. They might need old newspapers, bits of wood, some rope or twine, scissors, tape, glue, nails, you know, that type of stuff. My mother always had this junk drawer. We could pull anything out of the junk drawer, it didn't matter what it was, and we could use it to build or make anything. And it always had all the fasteners like staples and tapes and everything. But then she also had other things, just random craft supplies around like straws, drinking straws, and you know, yarn always. I mean, she did a lot of crafts, so we had all these craft supplies, paint and sewing things and stuff like that. And so I decided I wanted to do the same thing for my family, and I had this craft bin that was full of all these things. It turned into a whole craft closet. I had a whole organizer in my house that was dedicated to just holding all of the different crafts things, from the little pom-poms and pipe cleaners to the glue and rocks and popsicle sticks and whatever. But we also had out in the garage a big area where there would be extra wood and there would be nails and screws and things that the children could use to build anything that they wanted, and rope and wires and stuff like that too. So you got to have a good bin of possibilities. In fact, it actually makes a really good gift for someone, like for a birthday or a Christmas. We did that. We gave someone a bin of possibilities one time that had tools in it and stuff for their Christmas gift, and they loved it. Number 8. The children need to have characters to play with that relate to normal life. I know there's all these fancy TV shows out there and they all have their characters and it's like Paw Patrol and whatever and all these different things. But there are characters like baby dolls and like little action figures that are like a father and a mother and a baby, like a child. You need to give those types of characters to your children because it is really hard to create and make believe and imagine something you haven't experienced yourself. So if you wonder why your child talks about Spider-Man all the time, because they've seen Spider-Man, that's why. They've seen the show, and so they're going to talk about that, and that's what they're going to invent. Well, what is the most relevant thing in their life? Their relationships within the family, their siblings, and them coming into the world, and all that kind of stuff. So having the baby dolls, the kitchen stuff, because every home has a kitchen, and having the mother and father figures to play with in the little car that maybe looks like a, you know, an SUV or a minivan or a Jeep or whatever, and everybody gets in and they, you know, drive around and they can play those types of things with each other. Those are going to create more hours of play than the things where you can only play one way. Oh, Spider-Man has to play this way. Now, obviously, when someone gets really good at unstructured play, they can take those characters and they can start adapting them to all kinds of little, you know, scenarios. I'm thinking of the show Toy Story, and how the little boy Andy plays in Toy Story, and he dresses up Buzz Lightyear in a little apron, and he's, waiting tables or something in one of those, Toy Stories. And that boy knows how to do unstructured play with all of his characters, and they're all mixing around and doing different things. But usually people keep their characters pretty literal, especially at first. And so to help their broaden and their play expand, then make sure that they're people that they can relate to. All right, number 7, adult tools. Let your child learn to use adult tools. So use knives and saws and hammers and screwdrivers and sewing machines and blenders and stoves and ovens and all those things. And then they're going to play restaurant, and they're going to start sewing things for their dollies, and they're going to start building things for their cars and whatever. So they need to have access to tools. So we, by the way, had the child's tools, which were all adult tools, but they were for the children. And then my husband had his own tools because he really did not like what would sometimes happen to his tools in the way that they were playing with them in their unstructured way. So there's a tip. However, in true self-government fashion, if you're familiar with how things are here on the self-government channel, I should say that you also can just pre-teach your children about what they should do with your tools and how to treat them. And then if they don't, then you give them feedback by correction afterward. So no big deal if you don't have the money to buy a whole other set. Number 6, no screens. That one's just pretty simple. That one shouldn't surprise anyone at this point. We know enough about what screens do to our children's brains and to our brains and to the creativity and the laziness and everything else that it should just be a no-brainer. If you want your child to play unstructured, do not have the screens running your day. In fact, have minimal exposure to the screens. That's going to be better for you. Number 5, nature. The children need to go into nature on a regular basis, which probably means as the parent, you need to go into nature too. So go on nature walks, go out into the woods, go to the beach, do all of the different nature things, and stop and inspect stuff. Don't just sit at the beach, but look at things around you at the beach. Teach them how to observe what's going on in nature. Then once you've done that a few times, then you sit and read your book and let them go and play in the way that you taught them before. Let them remember how to observe and analyze. So camping is beautiful. When you go camping, it's kind of like the best way to observe nature, because you go out there and you don't just have 1 hour or a half of a day. You have multiple days. And there are times when parents just have to cook the meals or do something around the camp, and the children just have free time, or the parents want to read their own book, so the children have this free time. It's perfect. No technology, out away from nothing, free time, nature. Number 4, inspire the idea of entertaining someone. Let us entertain you. So what did I do to do this? I started doing puppet shows with my children when they were really little, and I started entertaining them with stories. They loved that. So then I started saying, how about you do the story? So then they would do the story, and it would be, sometimes good, sometimes a little bit meh, but they did it, right? And it wasn't about pleasing me, it was about that they were doing it, which was an important thing. They started doing puppet shows, then they started doing skits, then they started doing daring deeds and magic shows and stuff. And we started putting together things. The one structured thing I would do is I would say, okay, we're going to have people over for a talent night. And so you need to put together some sort of a talent. Okay, I got to come up with a talent. What am I going to do? And then that part was on them. They had to put all that together. And they would, labor over it. And sometimes they'd draw a picture, and sometimes they'd do a magic show and stuff like that. But also, we would say, okay, let's all have an exhibition where we're going to have a fair, and we're going to have everybody come to our fair or our carnival. And so we would create a carnival. And what would happen at the carnival? I don't know. But every person that's coming to the carnival has to have a booth at the carnival. So now all the friends are thinking of things, and they're coming together with their ideas. And now at the carnival, whatever happens, happens. They just play. So sometimes you can start with a piece of structure, like a little idea, and then launch them off on that. Let us entertain you. Number 3, obstacle courses. Now we've got these bins of possibilities, maybe living in the garage or underneath the porch, outside, or in the toy room or in a closet somewhere. Now let's use these bins of possibilities and other things that we find around the house, like patio furniture and bicycles that have wheels on them and roller skates and roller blades and those types of things. And now let's make an obstacle course. Obstacle courses are so fun. Do it one time with your children where you create an obstacle course. Then you take the same supplies and you make a different obstacle course. You might use sidewalk chalk and ropes and stuff like that. And then you move it all around and do something different with it. You do it that way. Then say, I've got to go make dinner. How about you guys make an obstacle course for me? And when I'm done making dinner, I'll come out and do it. So now they are going to make obstacle courses. Guess what's going to happen when they play with their friends? And they look at that bin of possibilities. Guess what one of the options is? Obstacle courses. But the obstacle course is going to change every time. They're going to invent, create, build up, and structure something that is new every single time. Of course, they'll find their favorite obstacles, but after a while, they'll want something innovative and exciting and new too. Number 2, treasure hunts. Have the children bury things or put things in certain places and find creative ways to hunt for it or to have their friends hunt for it. Obviously, it could start out pretending they're pirates or they're treasure hunters of something, but they also could just start having a treasure. You could give them a little box and say, look at this box. It looks like a treasure box. You could play treasure and you could hide this buried treasure and you could have your friends find it. You could find so many cool ways to use this box. How can you use this box? Now, speaking of using things, this is probably bonus, I guess, but cardboard boxes are the best for unstructured play. Like the best. I remember I got a book when I was young from my mom. It was called Christina, Katrina, and the Box. If you can find it, get it. It's a great book about all the different ways that this one refrigerator box transforms into so many days of play for Christina, Katrina, and her friend. Boxes are amazing. My little granddaughter, every time she sees a new box, it turns into her little car or her little wagon or something, and she starts pulling things around in it or getting in it and pretending. She absolutely loves a good box. So anyway, some of those things lead to unstructured play as well. Number 1, do real life things. Teach them to do real life things and give them the freedom to do those real life things. So adult things. Teach them how to chop wood, make fires, build things, all of those types of things, cook food, and then let them do those things for their spare time. Now, maybe the build fires might be a little over the mark for some people because like in our house, in our family, we have a fire pit. So they could build a fire in the fire pit and they know that's where the fires go, is in the fire pit. We don't do it anywhere else. Okay, so definitely make sure that you use some wisdom in that. But if they know all of these things to do, and if they are working with you, they're painting things, building things with you, then when it's their free time, then they can start building and painting things too. So work. Have them work with you. That will inspire them to start working and doing things on their own. Our children absolutely want the opportunity to play, to have fun, and do it in an unstructured way. It is so good for them developmentally. You know what another thing is that's good for them developmentally? Calmness and learning how to master themselves. If they learn self-government, which is what this channel is all about, it actually leads to increased calmness and increased confidence as well. There is something that leads to their calmness more than anything else, and that is your calmness as a parent. And I have something called a Calm Parenting Toolkit that I would love to give to you for free to help you with your parent calmness and to help your child possibly with calmness too. The Calm Parenting Toolkit is available right now for free if you click the link in the description below this video. The link is teachselfgov.com/toolkit. If you click on the link to that video now, then I will see you there.